So, are great talents born or are they made? It's a question we've all wondered about. Do geniuses just show up, like they won some kind of cosmic lottery? Or is there more going on behind the scenes? Well, today we're going to dive into a pretty game changing idea. That potential isn't just something you find, it's something you can actually build. And to get to the bottom of this, our story isn't starting in some high-tech lab. Nope. We're heading back to a living room in the early 1960s with a little mystery that would baffle any parents. So I want you to meet Clara and Kim. They were both engineers, and they absolutely loved two things: classical music and chess. They'd spend their evenings solving these tricky chess puzzles from the newspaper. In 1963, they had a son, Gary. And while the house was always filled with music and chess talk, here's the key thing: they never actually sat down and formally taught him how to play the game. So picture this. One morning, Clara and Kim are just completely stumped by one of these newspaper puzzles. They're going back and forth, and then their 5-year-old son, Gary, who's just been watching quietly this whole time, pipes up with this really strange but brilliant solution. And what do you know? It was the exact right answer, a move so clever and unexpected it had totally gone over their heads. I mean, how does that even happen? A 5-year-old with absolutely zero training just casually solves a complex chess problem. It's one of those moments that really makes you wonder. Was this just a fluke? A gift from the heavens? Was the future world chess champion just born with the entire game already hardwired into his brain? That incredible story really forces us to look at this whole idea of talent in a new light. See, for centuries, we've kind of acted like talent scouts, always searching for that 1 in a million person who was born special. But what if we've had the job description wrong all along? What if our role isn't to be a scout, but to be a gardener? And this leads us to this powerful concept called talent making. It completely flips the old model on its head. The idea isn't to just find what's already there. No, it's an active, deliberate process of creating the perfect conditions for talent to grow and blossom in the first place. And, as you're about to see, this process starts way, way earlier than most of us think. So the difference here is really all about your mindset. Talent scouting is passive, right? It works on the assumption that genius is rare, and you just have to get lucky and find it. But talent making, that's active. It starts with the belief that everyone has potential. And the real work, the important work, is in building it. The focus shifts from finding the one to building up the many. The gardener analogy is just perfect for this. A talent scout walks through the forest looking for the one tree that just by chance grew a little taller than all the others. A talent maker, on the other hand, is the gardener. They're the one preparing the soil, making sure there's enough water and sunlight, and giving every single seed the best possible shot at reaching its full potential.
Okay, so if we're all gardeners now, we need to know, when is the most important time to tend the soil? When does our work matter most? Well, science points to this incredibly specific, almost explosive window of opportunity.
Yeah, the research on this is just overwhelming. This window, what they call the first 1,000 days, from the moment of conception to a child's second birthday, is hands down the most critical period of development in an entire human life. It's when the literal architecture of the brain is being built at a speed that will never, ever be repeated. And the speed is just staggering. During this time, a baby's brain is forming between 700 and 1,000 new neural connections. Not every hour, not every minute, every single second. It's like a biological Big Bang happening inside a tiny little skull. Now, what's really cool is that this growth isn't just one big chaotic mess. It's incredibly organized. You can see from this timeline that different abilities have their own special windows to develop. See how the sensory stuff, like seeing and hearing, peaks really early? That lays the groundwork for language to come next, and then later on, those higher-level thinking skills. It's this beautiful, complex dance that starts long before a baby is even born. So that raises a huge question, right? If this amazing construction project is happening, what's in charge? We all know genes play a part, but how does the outside world, the gardener's influence, actually get inside and start shaping how things get built? The answer lies in this absolutely fascinating field called epigenetics. The easiest way to think about it is like a series of dimmer switches sitting on top of your DNA. The environment doesn't come in and rewrite your genetic code, but it can turn the switches for certain genes up or down, or even switch them on or off completely. Here's a really simple way to picture it. Your genes, they're the blueprint for a house. They've got all the basic instructions. But the environment, that's the architect. The architect looks at the blueprint, but based on the conditions of the building site, they decide which rooms get built, how big they should be, and what materials to use. And this whole process is at its most powerful during what scientists call critical periods. These are just special windows of time when a developing part of the body, whether it's the brain or the heart or anything else, is uniquely open to being influenced by the environment. It's a time of massive opportunity, but it's also a time of huge vulnerability. And this slide just illustrates that point perfectly. On the left, you can see the breathtaking speed of development in just the first 8 weeks. It's incredible. Now, look at the chart on the right. Those purple bars show you when all those different body parts are at their most sensitive to the environment. The takeaway is pretty clear. The period of the fastest growth is also the period of the highest sensitivity. So, let's put this all together. What does this mean in the real world? It means the foundation for a child's entire future, their health, their intelligence, their talents, is being laid down long before they ever take their first breath. So let's take a look at how that prenatal blueprint actually gets drawn. The womb is the very first world a human ever knows, and the weather in that world is shaped by all sorts of things. The mother's nutrition provides the literal building blocks, her physical activity, her stress levels, even the sounds and music she listens to. All of these send signals that help shape the baby's developing brain and body. And this, right here, is the most important takeaway. For a long time, the thinking was just about avoiding the bad stuff. But talent making is proactive. It's not just about protecting the blueprint from damage. It's about giving the architect the best possible materials to build the most incredible, strong, and beautiful structure possible. You know, this might sound like cutting-edge science, but this idea has actually been around for a very long time. The ancient philosopher Plato basically said the same thing. He argued that music wasn't just for fun. He believed its rhythm and harmony could literally get inside a person and shape their soul. He understood, even then, how deeply our environment makes us who we are. Which brings us right back to Garry Kasparov. So, was he born a genius? Well, maybe, but he was also born into a home that was constantly filled with the rhythm of classical music and the logic of chess, the perfect environmental ingredients to nurture a mind like his. What his story hints at, and what science now confirms, is that potential isn't some fixed destiny we inherit. It's a structure we build. And that leaves us with a pretty big question to think about. What kind of foundation are we building?